Contemplating divorce can be a difficult thing, but there are a couple keys that you can do on your own before you get to that point. The first is knowing sort of the bounty of your estate. Anything in the state of Nebraska, under Nebraska rules, so anything that's acquired during your marriage is generally considered divisible. So knowing what you owned prior to the marriage and knowing what you've acquired during the marriage is going to be important for us as the attorneys to figure out exactly what we have to divide. Generally, things that were owned prior to the marriage or premarital assets are things that you get to keep and you get to walk away with again, so long as they've not been so overcomplicated and commingled with each other in terms of the assets that are acquired during the marriage. If you've acquired assets using premarital assets, then we can use tracing provisions to try and get you back to be able to leave the marriage with what you went into it with. But if you're trying to plan out some of the steps that are going to make your life a little bit easier when going through a divorce, first of all, I think you really need to decide what's really important to you as the outcome. So if you figure out what the most important thing is to you, then you have a goal and you have a vision so you don't get lost in the weeds and you don't start fighting about smaller issues that are really sort of inconsequential for you to get your primary goal. The second thing you need to do is you need to know what you guys have as assets and debts. A lot of parties, one spouse is responsible for more of the payments or more of the income than the other. And so whether it's by choice or not, sometimes both spouses are not fully educated on what their marital estate really consists of. So it's important to know what you guys have for retirements, for investments, for different accounts. It's important to know where your bank accounts are at, whether they're joint or whether they're marital. It's important to know credit cards and whose names they're in, bank account mortgages, auto loans, all those things. So it's important just to know your financial well-being and have an idea of that so you can speak semi-intelligently about that when you meet with any attorney, because it's going to give the people that are going to help you through this a good idea of what everything is that needs to be dealt with or what the bounty of your estate is at this point that needs to be divided. So doing your education and sort of creating a list or a spreadsheet or something like that can be really helpful for the attorneys. When you're planning for divorce, getting some documentation can sometimes be helpful. If you have a copy of your marriage license, that can sometimes be helpful. Having all of the social security numbers, dates of birth, all the real confidential information for parties is also really helpful. Having your driver's license with you is nice. We like to scan everybody's license in, not only so we have a visual of what the person looks like, but there's information on the license that sometimes is important and stuff that we can use. If there's an aspect of your case that's particularly important to you and you have documentation for that, please bring it, whether it's a financial document or text messages or something of that nature. It's important to know where those are at or how accessible they are. The reality is when you meet with an attorney to try and talk through or have a consultation about a divorce action, it's just important to know as much information about your own life as possible or know how to access that information so the attorney can look through it. When you're making the decision about choosing an attorney, you need to find somebody that's really going to connect with you. You need to find somebody that's going to be empathetic with you, somebody that's going to really walk you through this process. Whether it's a high conflict divorce or one where the parties recognize that they're just not a great couple married, but they want to be friends, or it's just a real simple uncontested divorce. You want somebody that's going to look out for your best interest and not necessarily the attorney's best interest. You want somebody that's going to be empathetic and remember that while it's just another case for us, so to say, on the attorney side, is the most important thing in your life and maybe the biggest factor and event that you're ever going to go through. You want somebody that's going to treat it like that and give you the time and respect that you deserve and hopefully counsel you through that in a way that's going to be least stressful environment that they can create and not cost you an arm and a leg to get from being a married couple to a single individual. Being prepared for your divorce is generally gonna help you in a number of different ways. Knowing everything that you need to divide, whether it's a marital or premarital asset, is important. Knowing information, just the basic information about your life, your children, where they go to school, names of doctors, names of teachers is gonna be helpful. The more prepared you are, the least amount of time your attorney is going to have to wait or search for the information that you could have already provided for them. Preparation is really the key for for many things in life, and divorce is no different. Knowing what your goals are and knowing what you want your outcome to be or to look like, or envisioning what your post-marital life is going to look like, is important preparation before you meet with an attorney. Preparation forces you to take a look at yourself and take a look at sort of what you want out of this action, so that you're able to convey that same information to the attorney in a way that's going to be easily digestible and easily understood, and helps the attorneys create goals for themselves on what is a good outcome for this case and for the client. The more the client can prepare and help out the attorney in providing that information, it really just makes the process a lot smoother. And when you're going through something that's already difficult, smooth is the best. It's the cheapest, it's the fastest. So preparation really does come in key in a lot of different ways. If you're wondering how to prepare for a divorce in the state of Nebraska, contact Husker Law today.